So I made a video lately on Sam-Sitter and prostate cancer, and I talked about how Obamacare doesn't cover prostate cancer, and that's an example of misandry in the United States. And I got a lot of comments telling me that I was wrong and that I didn't understand how prostate cancer not being covered by Obamacare isn't a function of an anti-male bias, but rather it's a function of how they calculate what to cover before Medicare. And when you look at prostate cancer, the mortality rate, the age of incidence, and then the age of Medicare, which is 65, it was calculated that Obamacare did not have to cover prostate cancer. Their point is that this is not a bias against men, but this is just a product of a flawed system. I find that argument in and of itself to be an example of what MRAs mean by misandry and the male empathy gap, because the point is this. If you had a cancer with identical statistics to prostate cancer, same mortality rate, same incidence, same prevalence, same age of death, same Medicare age, but it was a woman's cancer, then that argument used to justify leaving prostate cancer out of Obamacare wouldn't be made. And if that women's cancer was left out of Obamacare, and it was the cancer that a non-smoking woman is most likely to die from, regardless of age, there would be absolutely no attempts whatsoever to justify excluding it. That is the misandry. That is the anti-male biased. You don't even notice that you are defending something that is an anti-male biased. Think of it this way, like I showed in the last video. Prostate cancer kills almost 10 times more people than cervical cancer. So almost certainly, prostate cancer kills more people before the age of 65 when Medicare kicks in than cervical cancer does. Yet cervical cancer is covered under Obamacare, but prostate cancer, which kills much more people even at younger ages, does not. And you might find that cervical cancer's mortality rate before 65 is higher than prostate cancer's mortality rate before the age of 65. But again, if you look at total number of deaths, you have to include mortality rate, but you also have to include the total prevalence. So again, is 10% of 1,000 or 20% of 100 the larger number? If the same cancer existed for women, we would not even be having this debate, and there would be absolutely no question whatsoever that it would be included under Obamacare. And that is why I say the exclusion of prostate cancer is an example of anti-male bias and misandry. The fact that people would type out these multi-paragraph answers explaining the mathematics behind why it's justified to leave prostate cancer out of Obamacare and how it's not misandry is the misandry itself. Also, remember, prostate cancer kills a lot of men under the age of 65, as I explained in the last video. A little over 10% of prostate cancer deaths are 64 years old and younger. Again, now 10% might not seem like a lot, but because prostate cancer kills so many people, that 10% represents a large number of deaths relative to other cancers. So when you're talking about percents and math, it's very easy to get confused or misled, but it's important to look at the whole number and important to look at the deaths of the cancer as a whole.